No, I haven't finished my Kit Kat, Zane. What's going on with you? Oh,
Welcome to the Undisputed Nerds Podcast. I am your host, Senpai Zane. As always, I am joined by my fantastic co-host, the gentlemanly gamer.
you really emphasize it every week after that one time.
Time.
Hello, everyone in Radio Land. I hope we're all doing well this week. Yeah, man. It was only one time.
It's one time, but it's the one
okay
time that'll stick on me.
It's okay to get things wrong sometimes, Zane.
Wow. In with the puns already.
In with the shots. Shots have been fired already.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. We were having an offline discussion of listeners that became very amusing very quickly. And let's just say I've already found a replacement for the Senpai if he loses that bet on the Otaku podcast.
Yes, I could lose my Senpai status. Anyways, moving on swiftly, we've got a lot to talk about this week. Not only was there a brand new episode of Loki, which we've been covering lately, and we'll discuss, of course, but there was a Black Widow movie. Ooh.
Oh, sorry. Ooh. I didn't realize we were doing it on a generation game where we're going to slowly wheel out Scarlett Johansson on a trolley.
Ooh. One better, we've got Lucy Pug. Ooh.
Ooh.
By the way, her version of Paige in Fighting With My Family was fantastic.
Are you talking about Florence Pugh?
Florence Pugh, sorry. Who did I say? Lucy Page.
Lucy Page? I was like... I thought... for a minute, I thought you said Lucy Pug and you had a new dog. And I was like, oh, right, okay, cool. Yeah, we like the new dog. Yeah, Florence Pugh, the actor who was Paige in Fighting With My Family, yes.
Apologies.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. I mean, anyone else would have crucified you. Yeah. Starting off hot and spicy today. I will say this, listeners and viewers, it is extraordinarily hot where both of us are right now, and I am sweltering in this heat. So the energy levels are up right now, but you may find we may need some spicy comments in the live chat if our energy starts to dip. So please, by all means, hit us up if you are watching us on the live chat, or just send us an email afterwards telling us how knackered we sounded.
Should we start talking about Black Widow?
Yeah, we've gone cosmic now. Let's bring it back down to Earth. Now I have to try and remember everything that happened in Black Widow after I just tried to forget everything in Black Widow and remember everything in Loki. Yes, let's talk about Black Widow. What did you think of this film, Senpai Zane?
On our scale of undisputed or disputed, I'm going to come out the gate and say undisputed.
Absolutely, 100% undisputed. It was amazing. I really loved this film. Yeah, it was excellent. It was excellent.
One thing I wanted to ask you, if we would compare this to other solo Marvel movies, so take out the equation, the Avenger movies, I think Civil War to an extent, if you were to, on a scale of, solo Marvel movies, how would you say it compares?
Really well, really well. This was excellent, and it's interesting as well because this was one of the first movies that I've seen of the Marvel movies that didn't necessarily rely on the other Marvel movies. Yeah, like in the beginning, you kind of need to know that Civil War happened and she's on the run, kind of. But
which I thought was really interesting because going into this, I saw so many theories that this was taking place during the 5-year blip.
Oh no, it's after Civil War, before Infinity War.
Which I really liked. I thought it was a great point to slot this in.
Yeah, and the reason why I think they've done that specifically because then she has no backup. She has to find. She doesn't have to find people, but people find her kind of thing. But I loved that because there was one the one thing that I did think about this movie is that we know that in Infinity War it picks up with her. She's part of the Secret Avengers of that time, and she's with Cap and she's with Falcon. Like we and Vision as well. No, not Vision. Scarlet Witch. Like we know that, and then we know that Clinton and Scott Lang do a deal.
Yeah,
but like, I did expect there to be a cameo from Chris Evans in this. I really did, quite a few times. I was expecting him to turn up. It felt weird that he wasn't in it.
Or a voice recording. I was kind of expecting either his voice or Hawkeye's. I thought at least like an audio bite or something, you know.
I mean, we'll get onto that with the ending, won't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing that I kind of felt was missing. For me, this is a personal opinion, by the way, guys out there in the ether, in the nether regions. That sounded weird. Nether region? What am I talking about? In the World Wide Web. For me, the best solo movie was Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Agreed.
That's my personal opinion. I think that there is. I personally love that film. The only film I probably like more than, as far as Marvel's concerned, the only film I like more than that is probably Endgame. I think it ranks probably higher for me than Guardians as well, which I know that'll probably be a controversial take, with the exception of Endgame, which kind of Infinity War Endgame is kind of one big swirl. But I love The Winter Soldier. It is the peak of what Marvel did. It is like just the culmination of so many brilliant pieces coming together with an incredible twist that I don't care who you are, nobody saw coming that Hydra was infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. Nobody saw it coming. And it had so many knock-on ramifications for the rest of the MCU, and it was great. This came really close to touching it. I really enjoyed this film. It felt, and it's interesting because it felt very similar to The Winter Soldier, because it felt like that kind of espionage-y spy with like massive intersperse of action in it as well. Like this felt like a spy film with a Marvel twist on it. Like that's what it felt like, which is great. That's exactly what it should have been like.
It feels like if you were to deconstruct Winter Soldier, and there's the secret agent after Cap, and everything else, and the corporation that they try to take down, or an organization they try to take down. It is the bare bones in this as well, because you've got Taskmaster instead of the.
So that was the only bit for me where I will say this. So we'll go through the film, guys. So we'll go through the film and just do full spoilers, because forget it. If you're watching this where we talk about a Black Widow review, you shouldn't be watching it before you go and see it. So go and see the film and then come back to us. But
welcome back.
Welcome back. The Taskmaster thing. Sorry for talking about most of the film already beforehand. The Taskmaster thing. That was the only part of it where I felt like, they're trying to do Winter Soldier again. Where it was like I didn't like you've already had that kind of. It was a relentless killer who was after him. It was after them and wanted to kill them no matter what, and you couldn't compromise with him. It was like kind of like the Terminator kind of thing. And Taskmaster to me, and then you find out later on that it's Bucky, and it's this remorseful like person who's been put through all this torment and has become this like remorseless killer. Now tell me Taskmaster's origin.
So they're this tormented person who has this agenda.
Exactly. It's the same thing. And like Taskmaster isn't, I mean, from a purist comic book situation, Taskmaster's not like that in the comic book. He's an arrogant mercenary who has a photographic memory for moves, basically. He can remember and reenact anything. He is a perfect mimic. Whereas in this, it's interesting. They've done a kind of like computer programming Stark-esque mimicry where so full spoilers, guys, the Taskmaster is revealed to be the bad guy's daughter, who was thought to be blown up by a Black Widow when she was a little girl, but actually survived, cannot talk anymore, and had a chip implanted in her brain that could make her mimic moves. And that's who Taskmaster is. Just to rewind a little bit, because we've been a kind of a bit out of it. The whole plot of this movie is Scarlet Johansson, who is Black Widow. She she thinks that she's destroyed the Red Room, which was what
Mhm.
created her. We find out at the very beginning of the episode that she was part of the Russian experimental program that the Soviets did during the Cold War, which was have super spies from Russia infiltrate the US pretending to be Americans with the explicit purpose of gathering intel.
Yeah.
So if you've seen the TV show The Americans, which I would highly recommend, it is a fantastic show about two Russian agents who get married and live in America as American citizens and have a family, but they are actually secretly working for the Soviet Union. It's a great series.
Oh wow.
That's basically what this was. Like this is what happens at the beginning. So it's revealed that Natasha Romanoff had a sister of sorts in Yelena Belova, a younger sister, and then she had a mother and she had a father. The mother is Melina, who is another agent of the Black Widow program. And her father was the Russian super soldier, the only Russian super soldier known as the Red Guardian. They get extracted right at the beginning of the film and sent back to Russia. They're working for this colonel, is it, or general? I can't remember. It's Colonel General Drakov.
General Drakov.
Drakov. Yeah, who is General Drakov is played by Ray Winston, and he is the big bad in this. He is
good accent or bad accent?
Oh, it's awful, awful accent. The worst. I was like, there was a bit where he's trying to talk about something later on, and he's in. So for those who don't know, Ray Winston is a very Cockney geezer, and like he's been in several movies like Sexy Beast and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, he's got his kind of accent, isn't he? All right, you mug. All right, yeah. So when you try and put a Russian accent over the top of that, it kind of turns into, "Hey, all right, comrades." So that's
he says a line. I think it's like he says something like along the lines of, "What's the matter with her then?" Like it was like he couldn't even hold it for 2 minutes. Like, what's going on with it? What's in her head or something?
It's one thing to have this incredible power, but what's the matter with her then?
Yeah. I was like, oh, Ray.
Yeah. Poor Ray Winston. Anyway, I would argue that if you had to plot a weak point of this film, it was the villain. 100%. The villain was very weak in this. But yeah, so Drakov is responsible for the Red Room. He is the person who came up with it. He's the person who came up with the Black Widow program. He's the person who technically created Natasha Romanoff as Black Widow. So anyway, the family gets sent back to Russia. Both sisters, Yelena Belova and Natasha Romanoff, get put into the Black Widow program. They both become Black Widows, and then we don't know what happens to Red Guardian or Melina. They just go their separate ways. And then fast forward to just after Civil War, we see that Yelena is still working as a Black Widow, and she is hunting somebody in Hungary. And they use this weird mist on her, and we get a very weird. It's very interesting. Like it's almost like the anti-hex to Scarlet Witch's hex that she does in Age of Ultron to the guys.
Hands, yeah.
So Yelena Belova is no longer under the thrall of the Black Widow, even after she's just killed one of her friends, and then she sends the rest of the files to, I keep wanting to say Scarlett Johansson, to Natasha Romanoff, to her place in Budapest or Budapest. You'll get that if you see the film.
One thing that I really loved with the opening was we got to see Thaddeus Ross once again. I was like, yes. If there's one thing I love about this MCU, is the cameo of Thaddeus Ross.
Who is also, he's suffering as well. Like he's had another heart attack, it seems, and is now walking with a cane. Because I really do wonder if they're going Red Hulk with him. So for those who don't know, in the comic books, there was a big story in like 2008, I think. No, I think it was.
Maybe
No, it was before
earlier.
then.
Yeah.
It was earlier. I think it was 2008, 2009, where there was a Red Hulk that was rampaging through the MCU. Like he was intelligent, just as powerful as normal Hulk, and had a big gun as well. He had a weird big gun, which was very strange. But anyway, nobody knew who he was. Anyway, it turned out to be Thaddeus Ross. And so I wonder if they're going to do the same thing with him in the show, because they're seemingly bringing back Abomination in some form. So that maybe they're setting up for some kind of gamma-based film or...
Well, there's the She-Hulk TV series, isn't there?
Exactly. But I mean... No, I'm not knocking She-Hulk. She's a great character. There's no knocking from it. I'm just saying, like, I don't think they would implement all these Hulk gamma-based players without making a big play for something.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's just me. It might lead into the after credits stuff that we'll talk about, possibly.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm sorry, Senpai. You tell more of the plot, please go.
Yeah, sure. So, as we previously mentioned, Natasha gets in a kerfuffle with Taskmaster, as Taskmaster has been deployed to retrieve the vials. Great action sequence on the bridge. I have to say this on top. A lot of things of this remind me of Metal Gear. I know
really?
It shouldn't, but it does in so many ways.
What reminds you of Metal Gear?
Well, it's the whole Taskmaster is kind of like your Grey Fox or Raiden or,
Cyborg Ninja, basically.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many elements that kind of remind me of it. You could say like the prison kind of a Shadow Moses-esque. It's this massive
that was
prison in a mountain range, like.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's all espionage, isn't it? It's all like stealthy espionage stuff. So yeah, I guess it does have that kind of bent. It is a bit like that, but no, I mean, yeah. After basically the vials get sent to her, and it's got a picture of her and her younger sister in it. That's how she knows who it's from, and she knows then when to find her because her sister's gone to the safe house in Budapest. Budapest is what we've always heard about from Hawkeye and Black Widow. They always say this is just like Budapest. So that's where she goes, and then she meets up with her sister, and then her sister obviously informs her that the Red Room is still active, and then that's their mission from then on in, is to get past all the hunters and the Black Widows that are coming after them, and take down the Red Room and take down Dreykov, who Scarlett Johansson. Who Natasha Romanoff thought that she'd taken out already.
What did you think of the special effects in this film, by the way?
Really good.
No, that's cool. It wasn't a trick question or anything. I think there are certain moments. It could be me being really picky, but there was a moment where she fell down some like scaffolding or like a side of a building when they were trying to get away from the Black Widows.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, where her legs go a bit flaily in the air.
Yeah, and then she lands on her feet. Like
yeah. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from with that. It didn't bother me.
No,
it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would.
Because there were some excellent like CGI elements. Like there's a car chase later on, and where it gets shunted and it ends up underneath, like in the subway. I thought that was
great.
Yeah, I thought it was different but cool. Like,
yeah, that was such a great shot as well. When so Taskmaster fires an arrow, which has got an explosive round like underneath their car, which sends them up in the air, and then by chance they end up down in the subway. That whole sequence was great. Like that whole sequence was amazing, and I like that they worked together to fake out Taskmaster. Like it's they.
Yeah,
pretended the trail led down into the sewer, but then it wasn't. They were hiding up in a vent, which is the same vent that Black Widow and Hawkeye hid in for like 2 days back when they were in Budapest. But yeah, we also established that that one thing that we didn't talk about, which is it's kind of an afterthought, but we do find out that in order for her to defect into S.H.I.E.L.D., killing the Red Room was her defection. Like that's what she had to do in order to get into S.H.I.E.L.D. That was her mission. Was to take down the Red Room and Dreykov. That's why she was with Hawkeye, and that's why they were in Budapest, because that was her basic initiation into S.H.I.E.L.D. Which is it's quite a noteworthy
loyalty as well, wasn't it? To show loyalty to S.H.I.E.L.D.
I guess so. It's just quite a noteworthy thing. I'm just going to move my camera down a little bit because I realise I'm cutting my chin off. It's just quite a noteworthy thing to say because we don't really ever find out how she joined S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's the reason, and that's what she had to do. But yeah, from there, I guess they try and find out. They need to find out the location of the Red Room because it moves. They don't know where it is.
Yeah.
So the only two people who they know who would know are their parents. So they go and get David Harbour from like you said, from Shadow Moses.
What a gem! What a gem this man is. God. Like his stories in prison of fighting Captain America had me in stitches. Like I absolutely loved it.
I love David Harbour like a lot. I love Stranger Things. I think it's a fantastic series. I think Hopper in it is brilliant. AKA David Harbour. I'm one of the few people on this planet who really, really enjoyed the last Hellboy movie. Like I loved it. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was really great. And I was genuinely disappointed when it didn't achieve good things at the box office because I knew that was it for David Harbour. Hellboy was like David Harbour. Hellboy was a great example of like a film that it started off really good, and the first half of it is really, really good, and then the second half loses its way because it relies too much on probably studio enforced CGI monsters and stuff. But I think David Harbour is incredible. I think his performance in this, he is the ultimate narcissist, absolutely up his own bum when it comes to, like, he just thinks he's the greatest thing that's ever lived. Basically, he thinks he is. He believes firmly in his head he is on the same level as Captain America,
if not better.
Exactly. What an amazing performance by David Harbour. It's just so good. Because he is such a. I'm gonna try and avoid swearing. He's such a d-bag, and yet you just like him. It's so weird.
His character's so self-centered.
He's so self-centered.
It's
he doesn't care about his
to
kids at all. At least we think he doesn't in the beginning. But he's just incredible to watch. He was brilliant, man. He's one of the standout. Him and Florence Pugh. I have to say before I forget, Florence Pugh in this, Yelena Belova, she was amazing. Like
her range is incredible.
She's got the range, darling. She's got the range. But she's so good. I was watching it the whole way through, and I was like, man, she is. I'm sad that Scarlett Johansson's leaving, but I'm also not sad now because, like, if she's going to replace her, and it's already been confirmed she's coming in for the Hawkeye series, so like, man, she's so good. I love her. I love her.
It's even little scenes like where they talk about how their whole lives together was fake, and she has like this emotional breakdown where she's like, it wasn't fake for me though. Like, those years are the only thing that kept me going throughout the entire Black Widow program and everything. And then you've got David Harbour comes in and he's talks about that story about when he catches a fish and his dad saves his hands from frostbite.
Well, I mean, we kind of skipped ahead a little bit. They break Red Guardian out of prison because they think that he's got the key to the Red Room, or like the location of it. That is not true. He doesn't know where the hell it is because he was basically just hired muscle. He was the big dumb brawn that they were bringing in to back him up. Interestingly, though, they never confirm how he got his powers. They do call him Russia's super soldier, but I wonder because he's probably the closest we've got to like Captain America. You know what I mean? Because like everyone who's taken the super soldier serum has turned out very differently. With the exception of what's his name, US agent.
Walker.
Walker, that's it. Walker. I suppose Bucky as well. But it's just interesting, isn't it, that there was like nobody, you know, in the books at least, you get to that point where nobody's supposed to be able to recreate the Super Soldier Erskine's formula, and yet in the MCU it seems like, oh, it's just perfectly normal. Yeah, we created over here, got some over here, got some over there, because they try to in Incredible Hulk, and that's how Abomination is made.
Yeah, they try to recreate it, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I suppose there's the Isaiah Bradley sort of element as well, because he says loads of people took samples, blood samples and stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I'd be quite interested. You know what? I'd be quite interested to see. So it's obviously been established that Red Guardian was working back in like the 70s and 80s and stuff, because he says put me back in the suit, like let me, like when at the beginning of the film, after he's done this 3-year undercover mission, which he apparently hated, he wants to be put back in the suit and go back for glory. I would quite like to see, and this is just me, I would quite like to see a little like espionage movie of Ant-Man and Wasp in their prime, like original Ant-Man and Wasp, going again and infiltrate, because it was established that they were working for S.H.I.E.L.D. back in the 70s, 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to see like them versus Red Guardian.
Hank and Jane. Janet, sorry.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. Wouldn't it be cool to see them versus Red Guardian back in the prime? You know, I think it's one of those things that we're probably going to like see certain like further on. We'll probably see what ifs or something like that, maybe of it. I don't know.
Yeah, or flashbacks.
I
really like that.
David Harbour's great. David Harbour's great in everything he's in, and he was fantastic in this. Hilarious with a twinge of like likability, which was really good. There's a nice big action set, like that's their one big action set piece. We get to see Black Widow in her snowsuit finally, which is quite iconic from the comic books. The white suit instead of the black. And then it's quickly established that it's only their mother who can work out the location of where the Red Room is. And so that's when it gets into the bit that you were talking about with the big family dinner, even though they're not technically a family. And like obviously Melina, it turns out that the formula that they stole from the US was the final component needed to be able to dissolve free will and chemically create control in people. So it basically will remove all free will from people's minds, and that's what's happened to all of the Black Widows, is that they are all chemically controlled through this formula that Natasha's mother has like created, and she's still working on to this day. And then she obviously sees her daughters and her husband, I guess, which is that was one of the funniest things as well, where he's like, you haven't aged a day, and then she goes, you got fat but you're still very good.
And he's like, I've been in prison, I have a lot of energy.
No, he goes it's mostly water weight. Which is great. But
the scene where they're just sat there and you just hear him like making noises, putting on the suit, like, yeah, and
then he just comes out and starts eating again. Like he just comes out and starts scoffing his face. So anyway, at that point they all get, Melina has a heart to heart with Natasha. Alexei has a heart, who is Red Guardian, has a heart to heart with Yelena. And then Melina reveals that she's already let the Red Room know that they're there and they're coming to get them. And then we get into the kind of like final beat of the movie, I guess, which is the reason why nobody could find the Red Room is because it hovers like a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, like above the clouds. And then, we find out that, in a bit before then as well, we find out that when Natasha went to kill Dreykov the first time, she imploded a building on him, which is why she thought he was dead. Also, in doing so, his 6-year-old daughter was in there at the same time, and she thought she'd killed her as well. And then we get to the Red Room, and we have the whole bit with them talking about a load of stuff. We find out that Melina and Natasha have swapped, so they've got the old classic Black Widow face mask that she's so good at doing when she wants to look like Jenny Agutter sometimes in Winter Soldier. But other than that, and then then it's revealed that Taskmaster is Dreykov's daughter, who was blown up in the building, who did not die, played by Olga. I can never pronounce her surname, but she's been in loads of things, and she is a amazing and very beautiful actress. She was in one of the James Bonds. She was in Quantum of Solace, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Olga Davidovich.
I thought it was. I have to admit, like when the reveal came, there's like a side shot, and it looks like the suit is like 2 sizes too big for her.
It is. It's like it's padded up, like the whole thing. It's a completely like, I guess, robotic almost suit that's built around the person.
I feel like up to that point, there may have been like a male like actor in that suit or a stunt double in that suit, and then when it came to her shot of the big reveal, it was kind of like it's the same suit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that was again, if I was going to deduct points on it, it would only be that.
Olga Kurilenko, that's who it is. Olga Kurilenko. And I'm probably butchering that name, so I apologize. But yeah, that's who it is. And it's interesting. You look at IMDb, and she's uncredited.
Okay.
It says Antonia, sorry, uncredited. It's like, yeah, because she's Taskmaster. So yeah, anyway, and then the big fight scene happens. Black Widow does a badass thing where she realizes that Dreykov has some kind of like pheromone that is like been chemically put into her head when she was in the original Black Widow program, so that she can't do any violence against him as long as she can smell his aftershave or something. So she breaks her own nose to be able to give him a couple of punches right in the face, which I thought was great. I love that. And then there's not much more to tell, really, is there? It's that they take down the program, and then the whole thing blows up, and that's they go off in their separate teams to kind of do espionage stuff.
They go after, because he reveals there's hundreds, if not millions, of
hundreds
Black Widows.
Not millions, it's
hundreds, thousands, all over the world, don't they? Doesn't he?
He recruits millions of girls, but he kills a lot of them.
But doesn't he say like he's got sleeper agents all over the world, and that's why
he doesn't say millions though.
I don't know. There was a map, and they
there are millions of potential girls, but I think they give a statistic during it of like only 1 in 20 is capable of being a Black Widow. So then they just scrap the rest. So yeah, he kidnaps hundreds of thousands of girls, and then but there's only like a certain number of Black Widows. So like there's hundreds of Black Widows, but
around the world,
around the world, but all the rest of them just get killed off. They like all the other girls just get killed. So that's why he's such a monster.
They go away in a helicopter together.
No, that's all the ones that are in the Red Room at that time, which is like 30 of them. There's not there's loads spread around the world.
Yeah, there's loads around the world, but don't they? I thought because Natasha gives her the last vial and is like recreate it, like mass produce it for all the girls around the world to be free.
Yeah,
that's what I took away from it. Yeah,
that's I'm agreeing with you. You're arguing a point that we've already agreed on.
You were saying like when she typed in the computer, she just terminated them. Like
no, I wasn't saying she just terminated them. No, she copied the locations of all of them. No,
I see.
Yeah, she copied it. But you were saying that there's like millions of Black Widows. I'm saying no, there's not. There's only like hundreds of Black Widows. There were millions of kids who were potentials, but he kills so many of them because only 1 in like 20 can become a Black Widow. That's what that's what I was saying. I was agreeing with you. You were right, Senpai. Cool. You were right. You were right, Senpai. It's fine. Jesus.
Test me.
Well, there you go. It's gonna be another like stream of clips about how you were right again on the Clips channel soon.
Justice Hammer. I think It was really cool. There was another thing I was just going to touch on, but I can't remember. Rachel Weisz did a lot of behind the keyboard stuff. I mean, you get to see one act. I think she does like one Hurricanrana.
Can we just take a moment, because you said Rachel Weisz? We just need to take a moment of appreciation for how gorgeous she is. God damn you, Daniel Craig.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, she's an amazing actress as well. Not to undermine her talents, by the way, guys. Just out there, not to be terribly misogynistic. I do apologize. She's an incredible actress at the same time, but yeah, she's a very pretty lady. Yeah. What the hell was I? Yeah, I mean, she was basically the brains of the operation, but she was also a mother to them. And I guess it was. I guess the whole bottom line of this thing is that the whole Americans project to them was real. As much as they like to pretend it was fake, it was a real thing for all of them, for everyone involved. And it was. It's what is the driving force and pulls everyone kind of together, I guess, at the end.
I really like the joke about how Natasha always does a pose when she does a hero landing and stuff. Like,
and then Yelena did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And was disgusted by it. Well, let's talk about moving forward. So the end of the film is the end of the film basically syncs up with the beginning of Infinity War. So she gets the jet, the Quinjet, and is then going off to basically recruit the secret Avengers, get Sam Wilson out of prison, get Cap, and all this other kind of stuff. So that's where it kicks off. Interestingly, Melina, Red Guardian, and Yelena Belova all survive. They all live. They all have the Black Widows with them, and they go off on their own journey. Now, we don't know what's happened to Red Guardian, and we don't know what happens to Melina. So they're still out there in the MCU somewhere. So expect to see David Harbour again, because I guarantee you they're going to bring Red Guardian back for something. I don't know what it'll be yet, but they'll definitely bring him back.
Yeah.
So then credits roll. And then, the one thing we didn't talk about, actually, throughout this whole thing, Black Widow's fixer guy, who she's got, who can basically organize anything for her. He's new. Never seen him before. Will we see him again?
What was weird as well is, like, he's credited as Mason, like, nothing else. Just like you say, a guy with contacts and can get ships and guns and generators,
Quinjets.
He
can get anything. It's weird. I wonder if he's gonna. I wonder if this is gonna tie. That's the Madripoor connection. Maybe he works out of Madripoor.
That would be cool.
We're gonna start to see more and more stuff like this. Where he's gonna be this like silent, the Shadow Broker, who I still don't think is Sharon Carter. I still don't think it's Sharon Carter. I don't care. I don't think she is the Shadow Broker. I still think it's the Mandarin. I really do. But it would be interesting if that's where most of these people start to come from and where it starts to bleed out from.
There was a gun guy in Daredevil. I think his name was like Turk or something. The guy who'd always have like guns. I don't know. He used to always have like guns in his boots, and like he was the one that they would always interrogate to find out more information. Like not only in Daredevil, but I think in like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones as well.
Yes, the gun runner guy.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I thought
it was like his character at first, because I was like, I wonder if they've just replaced him. But
it's definitely not him. But I know what you mean. It is along that same thing. I think that guy was just a gun runner kind of thing in the maybe it's a variant. Maybe Mason's a variant of him. But yeah, so I guess the last thing to talk about with Black Widow is the after credit scene. Which this is where the real meat comes in, isn't it? So we see that Yelena is visiting the grave of Natasha because it's after Infinity War and Endgame. After Endgame, because that's when Natasha dies. And she is approached by Veep. What's the actress's name? I can't remember what her name is. Oh God, it's gonna drive me nuts. The lady from Seinfeld. What's her name?
I don't know the actress's name,
Oh, that's gonna drive me crazy. Hang on, hang on. I will
but
find
she's
out. Julia
a
Louise Dreyfus. Julia Louise
ah.
Dreyfus. That's it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The last time that we saw her was in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And she was recruiting
John Walker.
John
US,
Walker, US agent.
US agent.
Yeah. Valentina de Fontaine. That's it. That's who she is. So I have a theory of what's going on. What's your theory, Zane?
I think she's recruiting for her own little team of sorts.
Well, clearly, yes. That's the man. When I said, "What do you think's going on?" I didn't think you were actually going to like just tell me what we've seen so far.
But then I think the other thing as well is that there seems to be history between the two characters because there's a bit of banter like I want to raise this time.
She's already working for her.
Yeah, I'm on vacation. You shouldn't be approaching me right now. Like, yeah.
So this kind of plays into my talk earlier on about the Loki stuff, where they're doing a ground level world threats and then a cosmic level threat.
Yeah.
And I think what's happening is that with the TV and this Black Widow stuff, I think she is recruiting. The most likely thing is that she's recruiting for the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't aware, the Thunderbolts are like a B-level team, I guess. Originally created by Helmut Zemo.
Yeah.
Which again plays into what we've seen so far in Falcon Winter Soldier. And led by Zemo. And the whole purpose of them was to do special Black Ops missions for superheroes that the Avengers wouldn't touch because it was too dirty. And
they were government sort of led as well, weren't they? Like government missions.
So it seems like they might be trying to do a form of that because they've already obviously recruited their Captain America and now they're recruiting Black Widow. The other thing that could be happening is Marvel could be trying to adapt the Dark Reign storyline. So the Dark Reign storyline was when, so after Secret Invasion, Norman Osborn saves the world. He's the one who kills the Skrull commander. He's the one who stops the invasion. So he gets. There's a long. I won't go into the long winding journey of what happened before, but basically he gets put in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. Renames it Hammer, and then controls basically superhero antics in the world. He steals Tony Stark's Iron Man armor and repaints it as Iron Patriot. We've already seen Iron Patriot in Iron Man 3, which was Cody. I was going to say Cody Rhodes. Rhodey was Iron Patriot. So they've kind of done that already. And then he formed his own he formed his own Dark Avengers. They weren't called Dark Avengers by him. But they were considered the Dark Avengers because he used former villains to be the Avengers. So he had Sentry in it, which Sentry is we won't see Sentry in the MCU. I don't think we will see Sentry in the MCU anytime soon, if at all. He's too powerful. The man has the power of 1,000 exploding suns. They're not going to put him into it. But it was him. So it was Venom. Him. It was I was gonna say that. So Hercules was in it as well. I was just thinking about the regular kind of heroes first. We go into those two were kind of like Sentry is also the Void, which again that's a conversation for another time. But then Hercules was just Hercules, who's a hero as well, but a dubious, ragey hero. And then a bunch of villains were heroes. So you had, as you rightly said, Venom was Spider-Man, Hawkeye was Bullseye, or Bullseye was Hawkeye. Moonstone was Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. So they did a lot of this. So I'm wondering if they're going to do that, where they're basically going to try and adapt Dark Reign and it will be like a weird version of like the Avengers. And I'm wondering if this is what is establishing of like ground level people. So like maybe Falcon America, Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, all the Avengers that we know, Vision, Scarlet Witch, they're all dealing with the cosmic level threats. And then you've got this other West Coast Avengers-esque team, which deals with all the ground level threats. But the most interesting fact, well, not the most interesting, but one of the most interesting things was Yelena Belova's next mission is to kill the person who is responsible for her sister's death. And she gives him a picture of Hawkeye, which is doubly interesting because, one, does it mean that when Clint came back, he told everyone that he was responsible and he blames himself for it? And that's why, because obviously it wasn't his fault. She killed herself. He tried to kill himself valiantly. So yeah, I wonder, you wonder if that's some misinformation that's going on there. And it also means obviously that it ties straight into the Hawkeye series, which Yelena Belova has been confirmed for. Florence Pugh's going to be in it. So,
which adds a new element to the show as well. And I guess in a weird way, if she is successful in her mission, how many of the original Avengers are left? Like 2 after that?
Hulk,
like Thor. Yeah.
Who are the original 6? Hawkeye, Black Widow. Oh yeah, Iron Man, Cap, and yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's only 2 left after that. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I was thinking about this today as well. Marvel have a problem right now where when I think about Marvel and I think about characters that I want to see, I want to see Iron Man and I want to see Captain America, and I want to see Thor, and they're gone apart from Thor. Yeah, and it's just kind of like I'm looking forward to the next Avengers stuff. Yeah, but man, their casting was so on point the first time round that like it's gonna be hard to. I still don't know how I feel about Sam being Cap. I need to see another film with him in it. I still think Bucky was better placed to be Captain America first. I think it would have been a better fit personally. That's just me, and it would have been a perfect redemption arc. I've gone over this before on this channel, but like I don't know, man. It doesn't. I think back on all the people that I'm going to see, and like.
You're not excited. I think I was thinking about earlier today as well, how this is probably the last Guardians, because obviously there's Thor, Love and Thunder, but there'll be a 3rd volume of Guardians, and that will probably be the last Guardians, I would imagine.
It'll be the last Guardians with this lineup. Yes.
Yeah.
Guardians are just like the Avengers; they shift and change the whole time. The only people it's weird. I don't know because I've said that, and I am excited to see. I look forward to seeing a lot more of Doctor Strange in the Avengers. I'm looking forward to a lot more Tom Holland as Spider-Man. There are still things that, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I can never watch Marvel again because Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr. is gone. There are reasons to stay, and there are very interesting, compelling things that they are doing, especially with things like Loki. Like, man, that series is just I cannot get over how good that series is. This film was exceptionally good. Black Widow, it was great. It was well worth the wait. I would say this to you guys now, anyone out there who has sat through this and listened to this, thank you to begin with. Thank you very much for sitting through and listening with us. Go and see this at the cinema. Go out to the cinema and watch it, because the experience that I had watching it on the big screen, I wouldn't replace that for anything. Also, I know a lot of people, yourself included, got it on Disney Plus. I do not want Marvel to see that as a viable option for how to release things in the future. I think that Marvel movies, Loki and stuff like that, do the series, absolutely fine with that. But big summer Marvel movies or big winter, autumn Marvel movies, it is such a good thing. It is such a well-established mainstay of the genre now that please do not take that away from us. You know, I guarantee you my enjoyment level for this film was probably increased maybe 50% by watching it in the cinema. You know, if this had just been another thing I'd have watched on my computer at home, I would have just been like, oh, okay.
I am looking forward to the cinema experience. We're supposed to be going to see it this weekend, but like you said, I did watch it on Disney Plus today.
Well, because I forced you to. I forced you to. That's why. Let's do full disclosure. We weren't going to talk about Black Widow today, guys. And then I sent him a message last night after watching it, and I was like, "I've seen Black Widow. We really need to talk about it." And then Senpai was like, what am I going to do?
Well, first of all, I didn't even know it came out. I thought it came out today. That's why I planned to see it this weekend.
Yes. Anyway, let's not go into that again.
Yeah, let's not go into that. But yeah, I 100% agree with you in that regard, because I am really looking forward to seeing this in the cinema. Like, considering that I think the last movie I saw at the cinema was Tenet, all those months ago. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing this, and I've been really looking forward to seeing this movie as well, which I know I've mentioned a few times on this podcast. So, and even Marvel tweeted me specifically.
I mean, yeah, they did. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Yeah, sure. It was a very personal text. It read your full name, your full real name, and everything. Yeah, it was amazing.
Kev, me and Kevin Feige, by the way, Kev.
Kev, Big K, as you call him.
Yeah, put a word out for me. So, what can I say?
That's great. Yeah, I've seen the two of you, Big K and Little Z, going around. It's just amazing the relationship you two have. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting the love in. It's weird because, like, I think the Eternals is going to be a great example of something where it's like, I ain't going to sit at home and watch that. Like, it's like I have no disrespect to anyone who is excited for the Eternals. I am not excited for the Eternals at all. I couldn't give any less of a monkeys about it. But I will go to the cinema to watch it because I know it's going to be a big Marvel experience film, and that's what I want. I don't want to. Otherwise, I will. If I'm watching it on Disney, I will waste 20 quid to sit here doing something else while it's playing over here, and I'm barely paying attention to it. And it's like, nah.
It deserves full attention.
Whether it deserves it or not, or whether I'm just going to get more out of it. You know what I mean? I think I get more out of the cinema experience than other people do. And I think a lot of people feel like that as well. But, you know, I've spoken to a lot of our friend group who have said to me, "Oh, I'm just getting on Disney Plus." And I'm like, no, don't do it. Go to the cinema, make the effort and go to the cinema. Like, they're still enforcing like social distancing rules. They're still doing the masks. Like, you still will have a level of protection there. Like, just go and do it, because the cinema needs all the support we can get, because it's such an amazing part of our culture that this virus, it shouldn't be another victim of this virus. It shouldn't. You know, it needs to survive. It needs to live on, because it is. I can't imagine a world without cinema.
I think one last sort of element of this as well. It is a great movie, and I want it to be successful. And for it to be successful, it needs to beat Fast 9, or F9, I should say, at the box office. So I think it's only like 80 million in. I think so. Yeah. It just needs to do to win. So fingers crossed this weekend people will go out to the cinema to experience this.
Maybe not in England.
Yeah, maybe not, but
there is a certain world a European Cup event that is going on that will probably stop a lot of people from going to the cinema. But regardless, I hope this does well. It's a fantastic movie. I would wholeheartedly recommend it, as I would wholeheartedly recommend the Loki series if you haven't watched it already.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Fantastic. So that has been probably our longest episode, but a worthwhile episode of not only discussing Loki episode 5, but also our take and review of Black Widow. Undisputed review. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at senpai_Zane. GG, streaming tonight?
I am. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and wake up for a bit. Yes, I'm supposed to be streaming it. I've it's been delayed a little bit, but that's fine. We've already established it's fine. Yes, Ghostbusters. I'm finally finishing Ghostbusters tonight and probably going back to Resident Evil 4. Come watch me, Gentlemanly Gamer on Twitch. You should find me. It's going to be a barrel of laughs. You'll either see one man raging his bum off at Resident Evil 4 again because it drove me absolutely crazy the last time I played it, or you'll see one man slowly falling asleep on stream. So, you know, that's its own niche category right there.
As always, relevant links will be in description down below. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think of Loki episode 5? Who do you think the big bad's going to be? Let us know if you've seen Black Widow, and let us know what your thoughts were. We want to know. As always, comment, like, share, and subscribe. And
nerds.undisputed@gmail.com if you want to send us anything as well, including any kind of fan art. Just putting it out there now. Also, any kind of we are accepting any kind of submissions for any kind of artistic creations, so send them through.
Fantastic.
We need a theme, don't we? We need a theme.
Super. I think that's everything. Thank you so much again for listening or watching this on YouTube, and we will no doubt catch you on the next episode of the Loki final.
The finale. We'll be there.
And find out whose theories are right.
Plenty of clips coming after that. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.